Listen up, man. If you're truly serious about your soul's inner evolution, you got to understand that entrepreneurship is one of the most potent vehicles for spiritual enlightenment. Yes, so let me say that again. If you're truly serious about your soul's inner evolution process, the journey of your soul actually awakening and realizing to its true essence, you got to understand that entrepreneurship is one of the most potent vehicles to get you to that point of spiritual enlightenment. So you might be wondering right now, that don't make sense. Business and spirituality, entrepreneurship and spirituality, money and spirituality, no, those don't mix. Those do not mix. Well, those are all limiting beliefs, and those are all low-key bullshit ideals that you've been fed about what spirituality really is. So without further ado, let me break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. Now you gotta understand this on a base level. When you become quote-unquote enlightened, I'm not saying I'm enlightened. I'm not saying that I'm like the spiritual master that you see some of these great teachers being. Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, whoever it is for you. The ascended masters. I'm not even touching that level. Maybe one day I will become an ascended master, who knows? But what I'm trying to say is they served people. Their goal and mission in life was to become a quote-unquote divine vessel for God, an instrument for the universe to act out its will through them. You might be wondering, hey man, yeah, that sounds great and all, but what does that have to do with entrepreneurship? That's exactly what entrepreneurship is. Was Jesus, was Buddha, was Krishna, all them entrepreneurs in your ideas? No, but they were servants of the Supreme Source, of the Almighty, spreading their gifts, spreading their wisdom, spreading their teachings to help other people elevate their lives mentally, physically, and spiritually. Come on, man, are you picking up what the fuck I'm putting down? You gotta understand that within this world, you were brought here for a reason. You were brought here for a specific, unique reason. You were gifted this specific body, gifted this specific mind, gifted this specific time frame that you're born in, the location, your family origins, all that stuff was not by accident. You were supposed to use all these tools, understand yourself, master the self, and illuminate and become a beacon of light for others to also go on that path themselves. And then that domino effect keeps on going. If you can affect one person's life, and that person can affect another person's life, and then that person affects another person's life, that's where we really start seeing the evolution of man from these lower states of consciousness that we're in, the degenerate side of humanity, the dark side or dark cycle of Kali Yuga, if you want to call it that, to the golden age, the Renaissance, the new Renaissance. You got to be your own Renaissance if you want that to happen. If you want to, you're talking about, oh man, I wish the world was like this. I wish the world was like that. The reason why you say these things, because they're literally channeled messages to you from God, from the universe, from the Supreme Source. And it's being wanted, those thoughts, those ideas are wanting to be acted out into the physical realm to help the evolution of humanity, to help elevate the consciousness of humanity. You were the vessel to do that. You were the instrument to do that. And one of the most easiest ways, or quote unquote, the most efficient way of doing that is through entrepreneurship. Or you understand what I'm saying? This is a tool, a vehicle for spiritual alignment. Forget about what all these red pill guys, these online entrepreneurs say, just get money, scam, whatever it is to make $1 million. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about using this as a tool to serve others with the gifts that we were innately inherited by God. We're not supposed to just hoard our gifts for ourselves. We don't even understand what our gifts truly are unless we actually put ourselves out there and actually see all these things come to light. This is where entrepreneurship comes into play. I hate how this whole message of personal branding, entrepreneurship, business, and all that stuff is correlated to not spiritual. Oh, just because you're someone who's focusing on the spiritual path means that you just have to forget everything? No, if you understand what the law of detachment is, like I've talked about on this channel, like I've talked about on the main channel, like I've talked about in the private Patreon community, shout out to the fucking private Patreon community. Come on, man, if you're truly on this type of path of entrepreneurship, spirituality, just becoming the best version of yourself on all planes of existence, mental, physical, and spiritual, you need to be tapping into the private Patreon community. Because in there you get access to exclusive content, in-depth guides, full occult lectures, as well as, most importantly, 2 monthly mastermind calls every single month. We hop on a call with myself, all the members in our inner circle community, where we already have a private group chat, and discuss these types of topics more in depth and more in detail. Funny enough, we're actually getting a bunch of guys in there to actually start their own entrepreneurship journey. They've already had these ideas. They've already had these innovative thoughts channeled by God, saying, I want to serve people in this way. But they just needed that kickstart. They needed to be around a community of men who are also thinking like them, not the community of their tribe of people around them in their own environment, in their hometown. We're just telling them, hey man, that's stupid. Hey man, just do this. Hey man, just follow this path. No, you need to surround yourself in a community that is like-minded. The whole reason that we call it a mastermind is your mind is here, my mind is there, that person's mind is there, all on a certain frequency, specific frequency, and it comes together to become one mastermind. We start tapping into the Akashic records, the infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. Channeling messages in from God that you simply cannot. My bad, dog was about to knock over the camera into the river, but what I was saying, you simply cannot channel these messages by yourself. It's just more amplified, it's more invigorated, it's more vital when you're around that community. So if you're interested in stuff like this, man, check out the links posted in the pinned comment of this video, because within the pinned comment of this video, you'll also be able to find other services, aka my entrepreneurship journey, right there for you. Whether that's application forms for personalized one-on-one coaching, booking links to one-on-one consultations, again, the private Patreon community, free community Discord server, weekly newsletters, all that good stuff is posted in the pinned comment of this video. But what I was trying to say is, for the law of detachment, one of the most important messages of this universal law, the most important universal law too. Forget about the law of attraction, forget about the law of assumption, forget about the law of manifestation, whatever kind of laws you want to bring up. Even the law of gravity, the law of detachment is the most potent. And what it's saying is, don't just, when you're becoming quote unquote spiritual, don't just give up on everything. Give up on the ideas of trying to get something out of it. You are here to serve. And if you want to bring a Bible quote with this, seek ye first the kingdom of God and everything shall be bestowed upon you. I forgot exactly where that's from in the Bible, but just kind of think about that on an esoteric term as well. The kingdom of God is within you, Jesus says. That is your spirit, your soul, your essence. Seek that first. Share it to the world. Illuminate that to the world, and everything else will be given to you. All the money, all the material things that you need. Not that you want, that you need. Sometimes the things that you want aren't actually the things that you need. Entrepreneurship doesn't mean that you have to want all these cars, all these clothes, all this and that. It's you want to serve people because you feel a need to. I feel a need to bring out this message. Sometimes, like especially right now on these types of videos, where I just literally post up the camera, hit record, and I just spit for 30 minutes, 40 minutes at a time. I don't think it's me doing it. Genuinely, I don't think it's me. I don't believe it's me. Sometimes I look back on this, I'm like, man, what the fuck was I saying? I'm being used as a vessel. I'm being used as an instrument to channel some certain message. And I might be the conduit to help you understand that message. Again, we all perceive reality on different levels. We can look at the same book, read the same book, look at the same painting, and get two different kind of outcomes from it because our perspective paints a picture of our reality. So my perspective of reading the law of detachment stuff, connecting it towards the actual practical sense of life is totally different than how you might do it. And that's totally fine. Because the way I kind of relay it resonates with people like yourself. Me and you think on a similar level. That's why you relate to me. That's why you resonate with me. That's why you watch this channel. But on the other hand, someone else might watch this and be like, dude, this guy looks like an idiot. He talks like an idiot. I don't know what the fuck he's trying to say. Yet they go on another video talking about the same topic and it clicks for them. That's totally fine because we all resonate on different frequencies, on different levels. You resonating on a similar frequency to me. And you can do that same type of thing where you're relaying whatever message that is that you were preordained to do, that you were gifted by God to do on that level. And other people are going to resonate with you, and some people won't resonate with you. But it's your duty, it's your job to actually put yourself out there and put yourself in those positions where you can actually share your gifts. Because first of all, a lot of people will say that entrepreneurship is selfish. You're doing this just for yourself. Take that and warp it and flip it. Everything on the spiritual perspectives on life are opposite to what we see right here. The pendulum swung that way, it's eventually going to swing this way. That's the spiritual side of things. It's actually selfish not to put yourself out there, not to start up this brand, not to start up your business, and not to become an entrepreneur, because you are simply settling. Let that sink in. You've probably not heard about this type of stuff from this perspective on entrepreneurship and spirituality. You've all heard, oh man, just get the money, get the cars, get the clothes, get the hoes. Andrew Tate, Red Pill, all that shit. Fuck that. You're doing this for a bigger reason, a bigger purpose. How do you think you can affect people's lives if you're just settling within a job that you don't enjoy, that you don't care about, that you don't grow from? How? That's one of the most important things about it too. You continually grow through entrepreneurship. You continually keep evolving. When you get a 9-to-5 job, I'm not shitting on 9-to-5 jobs, because this, in my opinion, is a stepping stone. If you settle in the 9-to-5 job, yes, we got a problem, especially for you guys out here who are watching this channel, who are watching the main channel, who might be in the private Patreon community, who might be working one-on-one with me, who might be booking one-on-one consultations with me. You guys are not here to settle. You wouldn't be able to comprehend these types of topics that we talk about here. This is higher level stuff. We're not saying we're smarter, we're just a little bit more mature on the spiritual and psychic levels. You're not here just to settle. I know for a fact these small, lower level desires, lower levels pleasures don't mean shit to you. You might be quote unquote still addicted to it because that's all you've seen, but you know deep down, this is not what I want. I don't give a fuck about just eating junk food with my friends, going out to the bar, clubs, etc. I don't care about hooking up with random girls just to gratify my sensual pleasures. I don't care about just watching porn just to gratify my lower desires. I don't care about all that shit. It's not true fulfillment to me. I need a mission, a duty. I know there is something deeper inside me. I know you think like that. You would not watch my channel. You would not resonate with me if that was not you. And if you settle within these kind of jobs and stuff like that, again, they're not evil, they're not bad, and they're not, okay, you're broke and shit like that. I'm not gonna act like that. But what I'm trying to get into your mind is you're settling. You're being selfish. You know this is the easy route. You know this is the known route. You're scared to go in the unknown and see the possibilities of what you can possibly do in life. Because you always have been trained, most people, to look at things at the worst outcome possible. Okay, what if I do this and it just doesn't work? It doesn't work. You're still in the same fucking position, you idiot. You're still in the same position. At least you gave it a shot. At least you gave it a try. Shout out to 50 Cent. Get rich or die trying. I'm not saying get rich, but that's like the old pinnacle of life. But become your true self through entrepreneurship, through a path where you truly feel fulfilled through your passion, or die trying. Or fucking die trying. I don't know about you, but I'd rather go out like that. Like a G. Like a guy who stood 10 toes down on what he truly believes in. On what he truly believes is his message, tool, and vehicle that he was brought here to actually produce in this world. Sharing his gifts. Unlocking new gifts. Funny enough, the only way you're going to learn more about yourself, learn more about these things, is teaching it. You might have not heard that either. Teaching something is the best way to learn it. Every time I'm making a video on this, actually this one I'm just going off the dome, to be honest. Each and every single one, I'm just freestyling. But on the main channel, especially when I'm researching a topic that I already know about, I'm learning so much more, and the way I break it down into a way that makes sense to me makes sense to you guys who also resonate with it. And I'm actually learning more and more about myself, my own skills, my own gifts, and the topic at hand, because I'm teaching it. Same thing happens with you on whatever it is that you're trying to do. So take that limiting belief, those nonsensical beliefs that this is evil, this is bad, entrepreneurship is this and that, use it as the vehicle for spiritual enlightenment. And what does that mean at the end of the day? I'll be talking about this more in depth later on down the line what even is enlightenment. I'll be talking about this stuff on the main channel as well, the stages of enlightenment, if you want to call it that. But enlightenment is knowing who you are and what you were brought here to do. Knowing what it is on a deep level, your soul, who the soul is, what the soul is, what it was brought here to do. You're never going to find that out if you have quote-unquote karmic debts or you have unfinished business on this plane. You're always going to be chasing externally. You're never going to be looking internally. The entrepreneurship journey is literally an internal journey, and you're just expressing it out into the world. What are the struggles I've been facing? What are the solutions that helped me in my path that I know could have helped my younger self? Because I know for a fact a lot of you guys who are watching this are like my younger self. A year down the line, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, you were similar to that. And you're looking for answers and stuff like that. And I've been in your positions. Maybe I'm 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. I'm not saying I'm better than you. But what I'm saying is I have some game, some wisdom that I can drop on your head and get you ahead in life. Come on, man. This is bars out here. We spitting out here. Same thing you can do too, man. What are some things that you wish you told your younger self about? About the spiritual journey, about the psychological development that you've made, about your physical progress. What is it? You need to put it out there. You need to show people, shine a light. If there's a lighthouse always standing there, shining its light out for each and every single boat, and it's super foggy out there. That boat finally has a guiding light towards where it needs to go. You have to become that. I'm not saying you're like the holy one. Everybody's got to listen to you. You know, I got all the answers. But just shine your light through this vehicle of entrepreneurship, man. Whatever it is for you. It doesn't got to be a YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be social media. Of course, I think this is the best form of it. To share your wisdom, to give your knowledge. But find what it is for you. Because throughout this journey, you're going to learn more about yourself than you ever have before. And you're going to learn more about what your soul is truly here to do than you ever have before. You might have a certain passion when you start off your journey. Like for me, example, Pilates fitness. I don't talk about fitness so much now on my channel. My true passion is understanding the science of the mind, body, and soul. How to awaken, how to master the mind, body in order to awaken the soul. Yes, the fitness part of it is still cool. It's still the foundation of things. But you see how the passion changes, how it evolves, as I evolve. When you're in a job, you don't evolve, you don't grow. You get one specialized thing you do over and over and over and over and over again until you become droned out in autopilot mode and you have a midlife crisis. Use that 9 to 5, if you're someone like myself, as a stepping stone. Stack up some money, get some experience, but have your main goal, your main mission in mind. I know it's going to drain a lot of your energy, a lot of your time, a lot of your focus, because you're going in there 8 hours, 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, nonstop, and you're going to want to get home, just kind of fry your brain out with junk food, with porn, with this, with that. But you got to know deep down, especially for you men who are awakening to the spiritual path, you got to awaken deep down and realize you were brought here for a bigger reason, not to eat Doritos, Cheetos, and fucking watch porn and go chase women on the weekends at the clubs and bars. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you got to do it. Map out your quote-unquote escape plan to actual spiritual enlightenment, to true freedom, to true passion, where you enjoy every single moment of the day. You're not dreading your job. You're not looking towards the weekend all the time. That's one of the biggest scams and the biggest frauds within the Western world. Weekends. As I've been on this entrepreneurship journey for the past 3 years, building up this brand, building up my services, building up my skills, there is no such thing as a weekend. And I have no problem with that. You might be wondering, man, bro, you're always working this and that. No, I fucking love this. I love doing this stuff. And you can see it through the content. Someone who loves what they're doing, if I didn't love what I was doing, I would not be this consistent on this channel, the main channel, private Patreon community, with the people I work one-on-one with the one-on-one consultation calls, all that stuff, man. I would not be immersed into it. And funny enough, you might try a certain path, maybe it's dropshipping and stuff like that. That's not true, like, creative expression, and you might hate it. I tried, I hated it. Guess what? I'm done. That's not what I was really brought here to do. Maybe it is for you. Maybe it is for you. But one of the most important things you got to understand is we were all brought here, like I've talked about before, as men to be alchemists. We have an inner vision. We have an inner solution. We have an inner kind of picture of what our life wants to be like and how we can serve this world. Become, again, that divine vessel for God. Entrepreneurship is a vehicle for that, if you understand what I'm saying. It's literally how you get that done, how you bring that vision from A to B, from the inner world to the external world. You can do it through other ways, but this is the most efficient within the world today. You're able to create like that and affect people's lives like that on a global scale. It truly is such a surreal experience sometimes when I'm talking to the people I work with one-on-one, or I'm talking to people in the private Patreon community within the inner circle, that they're from all parts of the world. Australia, Netherlands, India. All these places I've never been to. Never been to myself. United Kingdom, New Zealand, all these places. And I'm like, man, this kind of one step of taking my life to the next level through this journey, and it's had its ups and downs, plenty of downs and plenty of ups, is allowing me to affect people, which in a way that I simply could never do with a regular job, with a regular 9 to 5. And I've been in those positions, and I've been in that path where I was gonna go that way, through college, through the schooling system. But through God's will, I got pulled in another direction. And it has not been easy, has not been a smooth sailing process, but it's been something I do it 100 times over and over again. And I feel like I'm just getting started. I feel like I'm genuinely just getting started. Even though I'm 3 years into this, I feel like I'm just getting fucking started. That's what's so amazing about this journey. When you're 3 years into your 9 to 5 job, you feel like you've done it all. Now you're just on autopilot mode. Do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Maybe get a little promotion at the end of the year. Come on, man. Is that really what you're brought here to do? If it is, and you think that, by all means, go for it. But I'm talking to the people out there that feel a true calling to something. True calling to create something. And especially for the men out there who are practicing SR, the art of sexually transmutating their energy. Remember, this is creative energy. What are you using it? What are you using to create with it? Is it music? Is it art? Is it business? Whatever it is, you can use entrepreneurship as a vehicle to get it to other people, express it to other people. Again, like I just said, it doesn't gotta be a YouTube channel, business like that. It could be your art. Funny enough, look at this shirt I'm wearing right now. One of my friends who actually I met through online, who actually found my videos about different types of spiritual topics, who actually gifted me a hoodie for free, made a big connection. I'm his customer for life. Every time he drops a shirt, he's blending in spirituality and streetwear, something that's really not seen. Actually, I want to do it myself too as well. So let me know down below if you do want some Fulati merch, spirituality and streetwear put together. That made a huge impact on my life. I'm thinking about new ideas. I connected with someone on a deep level, like we still talked on a day-to-day basis, not day-to-day basis, but like a friend-to-friend basis. Just because he put himself out there and I put myself out there. And guess what? You connect with the people in there who are in the inner circle private Patreon community. You're connecting with people on a deep level. You're actually building up a community and tribe of like-minded men. You're sharing your YouTube channels. You're sharing your e-commerce platforms. And people are getting connected and plugged in. You never know who you might meet in these communities in the online space. You see how this was not a YouTube channel? It's literally art. Put onto a shirt, and people enjoy art and they like to wear it. I enjoy this. Good quality too, man. Good quality too. Look fresh, look fly. It could be that for you, man. I don't know what it is. See how you blend in the spirituality into it too? It's so many opportunities out there, man. It truly is a magical journey if you take yourself out of these limiting beliefs of, oh man, no, it's not for me. Oh man, this guy's scamming people. Oh man, this is all again, bro, not everyone can be an entrepreneur. Yeah, not everyone can be an entrepreneur, but why the fuck can't you? Not everyone can listen to this content, but you are. This is your time to wake up. I'm saying this in aggressive tone because, man, I know that when you're on this journey, you just elevate on a different level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And if you're on retention, it just amplifies it. You have an actual goal with this journey. Not, oh man, I'm just trying to quit porn. Remember, you can never, I'm gonna make a whole video about this. I'm gonna make a whole guide to this too on the Patreon. You can never quit a bad habit. You can never quit an addiction. You can only replace them. If you wanna quit porn, guess what? You're probably always gonna struggle quitting porn because it's like almost taking out a brick on a brick wall and you're not replacing it with something. Take that old brick out, the bullshit brick that you don't want, and put a new one that's much more productive towards your life. Instead of chasing externally for sensual pleasures, you're going to chase internally and look towards yourself internally on how you can express your gifts to the world. If you have something like that to focus on, yeah, guess what? Porn is not even going to be an issue at all. It's going to be a little kind of a progress to get to that point where it's no longer like your old self is holding you back in a chokehold. But once you're at that point, man, you're flying. I've seen it with the people I work one-on-one with. We get to a baseline point within the program, but then it's like, yo, if we quote unquote leave you right now, you're gonna go back to your old ways because you have not replaced these bad habits. You've slowly but surely transcended them, but you need to now use that energy towards something else. Remember, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but only transferred from one form to another. Albert Einstein on your motherfucking heads. That creative source of energy, that generative source of energy, especially for the people out there, again, who are practicing semen retention, which is majority of this audience, that creative and generative force of energy needs to be used towards creating and generating. You could use it to falsely create and generate a kid. That's what you're doing every time you wank your meat, or every time you indulge in sexual degeneracy with the hookup culture. You're kind of like tricking your mind to believing that it is creating a child. Flip that, create a business, create art, create music, create whatever it is that you want. Use entrepreneurship as that vehicle to take this generative force of energy from your lower regions, from your lower states of consciousness to the higher faculties of man, your spiritual centers, your spiritual senses. This is what I mean by entrepreneurship is a vehicle for spiritual enlightenment. You are now bringing in that inner vision, illuminating it and expressing out to the world. Taking your God-given gifts, detaching from the outcomes of everything, and becoming a divine vessel for God to use you in whatever way it is. And again, it might be not the general entrepreneurship that you see. You might be doing something completely different, but you're doing it in your own way, in your own lane, where there's no caps, there's no limits. You're capped and you're limited by certain jobs because you're just a cog in the machine. You're not a true free thinker. You're not a true free man. You're not a true free sovereign entity. You are a pawn on the chessboard. And they could get another one to replace you like that. But when you become your own leader, when you become the divine vessel for God that you're supposed to be, you're playing a totally different game. You're not even playing chess anymore. You're playing 5D chess. And you're the one actually playing. And God is the one giving you the coaching of what you need to do, what it is that you're brought here to serve people with. Some people might serve people in this way better. Some people might serve them in this way a little bit better. You got to find out what it is. You got to find out what that is and go back to your inner child. Your inner child already knows. All the answers are within. Remember, even on this platform, this brand, this channel, this message, this entrepreneurship journey, my goal is to help you guys get the tools and apply the tools to help you find what it is that you were brought here to do. I don't know your purpose. I don't know what it is that you're supposed to do in life. Only you know and only God knows. And God needs you to actually know it yourself in order for him to use you and give you the guidance. If you don't find out that thing yourself, you're always going to be looking externally of school, society, your friends, your family, telling you what to do. Even me, you're gonna look at me telling me what to do. I don't want to tell you what the fuck to do. I want to give you the tools to go find it out and figure out and dig out whatever it is that you're supposed to do, and then you have an internal guide for the rest of your life through the practices that we talk about on this channel, on the main channel, on the private Patreon community, with the people I work with one-on-one. All these are tools. They're not the end solution. The end solution is true spiritual enlightenment, which is done through things like entrepreneurship. Hopefully you're picking up what the fuck I'm just putting down, man, because this is some sauce, this is some game that I wish someone dropped on my brain back in the day, so I wasn't out here looking like a lame. God damn. Woohoo. And you can't do this type of stuff, man. Just like be creative, be yourself, and know more about yourself. If you're always just limited and capped and putting on a mask every time you clock in, fitting a role every time you clock in, not being a true sovereign entity. Imagine I'm like acting like this in a corporate 9-to-5 job. Like, man, this guy fried out of his mind. Get him the fuck out of here. Get somebody else in. That'll listen to me, do exactly what I say. That will turn off his brain and just be on autopilot mode, and will just reprogram his mind to do whatever the company needs. That's what you're not. That's not what you're supposed to be out here for. Some people, they'll essentially trade off a false sense of safety. They'll get the false sense of safety within this conglomerate of corporate jobs and whatever it is, and trade it off for the unknown, the unlimited opportunities of freedom that awaits them if they take that step towards what they have a true calling for. Are you okay with that? Ask yourself. Comment down below. Meditate upon this. Pause the video. Are you okay with that? You're trading off the freedom of actually stepping to the unknown, which is quote unquote scary, because we as humans are just psychologically programmed like that. What we don't know, we usually hide away from. We usually shy away from because we don't know. But the soul, the spirit, is eternal, just like that unknown source. That's why you feel fulfilled spiritually deep down within your soul when you're actually following a passion, when you're actually following a purpose that you are deeply resonating with. And you cannot do that by just sitting in the known, by just settling for that safety. You got to be willing to jump off the cliff. You got to be willing to jump into the deep end and see what waits for you. It's not going to be all good. I'm not telling you how you start your entrepreneurship journey, you're going to become a millionaire like that, you're going to be affecting people's lives. It's not like that. It's going to be much more difficult. It's going to be much more strenuous on you. But would you rather have a life that's more, quote unquote, difficult, but much more fulfilling? Or would you rather have one that's not as fulfilling, but not as difficult? Instant gratification, delayed gratification. Which one do you want? Funny enough, if you understand the law of detachment, the goal in itself becomes the journey, the process, the progress that you make. Not the end destination of how much money, how many followers, how many whatever. It becomes literally the process of creating is the goal. Continue evolving is the goal. All the other stuff is a byproduct. You're making all your focus, energy, and intent towards your inputs rather than the outputs. Because as a man, you cannot control the external world. You can only control the controllables, which is your inputs. And your mind starts to shift in such a degree where it affects every single part of your life, on the mental, the physical, and spiritual realms. Through this one vehicle, man. It truly will evolve your life like no other. If you're someone that's already practicing all the things that we talk about here, this is the funnel that you need to take all that energy. You're building up what's called potential energy. If you've been in science classes, you know what I'm talking about. Potential energy is, it has potential to actually be put into motion and cause an effect. Kinetic is actually when the energy is put into motion and causes that effect. You have all this potential energy. What are you putting it towards? You're doing all the pranayamas, you're doing all the meditations, you're doing practicing retention, you're getting fit, you're getting vital, you're reading good books, you're doing some type of spiritual practice, you're nourishing the mind, you're nourishing the body, you're fulfilling the soul. What is the thing that you're taking all that energy and putting it towards? To something that's just going to drain it all away? A 9-to-5 job that you really don't like, that you really don't want to be there, but you're just kind of forced? Or are you going to put it towards something that you can create and that creation action just gives you more energy. It's crazy. It's literally like you're pouring yourself into something, but it's literally giving you all back at the same time. So just continually going, instead of putting all your money into something and just depletes. Like paying rent. You're paying the rent every single month, and you'll never get that money back. But when you have a mortgage, you're paying the mortgage every month, but it's gonna be returning back because eventually you're gonna own that fucking house. You're gonna own that business, you're gonna own that brand. That's why it gives you more energy back, slowly but surely. Amazing journey, man, amazing journey. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say here, man. Entrepreneurship is a vehicle for spiritual enlightenment. Take all these limiting beliefs out the way. Take all these kind of preconceptions of what spirituality is. Oh man, money is the root of all evil. Fuck that, man. Tell that to someone that's struggling their ass off, who can't pay their fucking rent, who can't pay for food. Money is the root of evil? No, it's the lack of money that's the root of evil. We are living in a time and day where you need money as a resource. Some people wish it wasn't like that, but hey man, what are you gonna do, cry about it? Play the game with the cards you were dealt, but play it to your style. Don't just follow the suit of everybody else, because everyone else is kind of getting lined up and just being thrown down a pit. It's almost like sheep. All the sheeps kind of follow each other, and if they're falling into like a cliff, they're just gonna be one by one falling into the cliff, falling into the cliff, falling into the cliffs. Even though some of them were gonna notice, oh man, I'm falling to a cliff, but they just follow the crowd. They follow the sheep flock. Stop doing that. Use your own mind. Become the quote unquote black sheep. Turn the wheel. Take the U-turn. Go towards where your soul is supposed to bring you towards. This is why you need to develop your intuitive muscles, your spiritual senses, through all the practices that we talk about here. These are all tools to get you to that point where you can actually access that inner knowledge, aka gnosis, that will guide you towards true spiritual fulfillment, true mental clarity, true physical vitality that you really want. And then you are the beacon of light that affects other people to start that journey. And then they're the beacon of light that starts other people's journeys. And it becomes a domino effect. And this is how we actually flip the script of this degenerate world and bring it back into the new age renaissance, the golden age. It starts with you. I might be a little match that ignites the flame for you, but you got to take that flame and you got to burn it and make it into a whole ass fire, a huge bonfire, so somebody else can come to you and light up their match, and light up their candle, and light up their lantern. You got to be that for yourself. Whatever the thing that you see in the world that's lacking, you got to fill in that market gap through the vehicle of entrepreneurship. I promise you, you will not disappoint yourself by doing this. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to come fast, but it's going to be a journey that's everlasting, and you're always going to be continually evolving on it. That's, as men, what makes us most fulfilled. That's why we enjoy the gym. You see yourself evolve from a skinny guy or an overweight guy into someone who's jacked, who's ripped. You love the evolution of it. Take that same kind of psychological presetting of your brain into something much more deeper than just building up your body, but building up a service that people can actually access to the point where they elevate their lives, and then they elevate other people's lives. Come on, man, this is the domino effect, and it starts with you. It doesn't start with me. I might have just give you a little push, but at the end of the day, you got to be the one that takes that momentum and carries it on over to your life. Come on, man. It's been your boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these gains, and I'm out of here. Peace.